It's all hands on deck in this Saratoga Springs neighborhood after today's rainfall flooded multiple homes. We'll show you how neighbors are helping each other out. Some have been standing in sewage water for hours.
And with this intense round of rain, how many more rounds to go? We'll let you know.
The Utah Arts Festival needs some help, and here's how you can get involved.
It will be the largest in the state and the second largest in the country when it's all done.
It's almost like building a stadium and starting out with the Super Bowl as your first game.
Tonight, we get an inside look at a new destination sports park in Provo.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Chapman. Bob has the night off. Our top story tonight is all the stormy weather. Take a look at some of the viewer videos we've seen from our Utah's Weather Authority Facebook group. This storm packed quite a punch in northern Utah this afternoon, and it's making its way through the Wasatch Front. We do have live team coverage for you tonight, starting with Utah's Weather Authority meteorologist Breck Bolton. Breck, are we done with the storms, or is there more water on the way?
There is more water on the way. We're seeing the biggest impact right now, pushing through central Utah. But as we've seen these series of storms with that monsoon moisture spreading across the state, that precipitation, as we look at some impressive precipitation amounts over the past 24 hours, enveloping most of the state, whereas we can see through central Utah into portions of the Wasatch Front. Impressive amounts, over an inch of rain, even close to an inch and a half of rain, as you can see up in the mountains near Scipio. Salina coming in just over an inch. Morgan just over an inch as well. Eagle Mountain, where we're going to be talking about throughout that area, we had some flooded concerns, and this definitely posing problems with some urban flooding, also some stream flooding as well. As the rain, not done yet. We take a look, active weather here across the state. Satellite radar showing, yeah, we're just lighting up the map where we see these thunderstorms still having an impact with another wave pushing into Capitol Reef. We had some showers, looks like up from Fish Lake, pushing further northward, where as we look towards southeastern Utah, we have showers that are pushing their way up through Arches, Canyonlands, portions of Lake Powell, also heading up to areas such as Green River over towards Grand Junction. Now, as we're turning towards the southern end of Utah County through Juab County, we've got another wave making its move here, as we can see this line coming through, where in the next few minutes, Nephi in its sights, and then also tracking up a little bit further north there, areas such as Payson up through Spanish Fork in that line as well. As we take a look for extreme northern Utah, things quieting down right now, but we look upstream, we've got another line of thunderstorms kind of drawing that arrow there, where portions of the Wasatch Front, particularly the central and southern end of the Wasatch Front, will keep this active weather going. So let's take a look at our computer models. We'll keep things going here overnight. So you'll hear some rumble, get a hit with the rain there, again from Salt Lake City through Provo, and then also through central Utah. That next wave coming into play. Monsoon moisture not letting go, though. More to come. We'll have details about that coming up as we take a look at your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Breck, thank you so much. Really busy day and messy as well. Multiple homeowners in Saratoga Springs had their basements flooded after this afternoon's rain. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser joins us live now to show us how the community is coming together to try and stop potential future flooding. Emily.
Kelly, when we pulled up to this street, it was chaotic, but it was a controlled chaos. Neighbors were scrambling, but it looked like everybody had a job to do. People were going door to door asking, what can I get you? Do you need help? Do you need food? And once that home was helped, it was on to the next. These two men have been in knee-high sewage water for 2 hours, scooping and shoveling up trash, and who knows what else. Trying to clear up a clogged storm drain that they believe flooded multiple homes on Lakeview Terrace Road in Saratoga Springs.
Came home to my backyard flooding. It was coming out from the park, like just water coming out of the sewer drain.
Everything you see here in Bonnie Sampson driveway was once down in her basement. Now it's damaged from the water that broke through the windows in her backyard.
It was heartbreaking, but it can be replaced.
She's lived here for 22 years and has never had a problem until Monday.
I have never seen the flooding like this before.
You can see the water dripping from the pile of soggy carpets stripped from the basement floor. Large puddles of water still sit on the Frisbee golf course behind her home. The whole neighborhood's on edge because more rain is forecasted to come.
I'm a little nervous. Really nervous actually, since I have no windows downstairs to stop it at this point.
If the piles of sandbags can't stop it, she hopes the helping hands of her neighbors will.
All the support has helped. Support of all of our whole neighborhood has been awesome, and friends and family, and that's what gets you through these times.
Sampson says there was over a foot of water in her basement, and the thing is they actually just remodeled this place over a year ago, and now this happened. Take a live look. This is what it looks like downstairs. I don't know why I'm wearing my rain jacket because it's actually pretty hot down here with the dehumidifiers running, trying to do everything they can. As you can see, these floors are completely stripped of the carpet. They're taking apart all the damage. Anything that could have caused some molding, water damage down here. Neighbors have been working at this home for 6 hours now, and it's still uncertain if insurance is going to cover this, who is going to cover these damages. And like I said earlier before, there is forecasted rain on the way, so they're doing everything they can to prevent future flooding and future damage to this home right now as well. Reporting live in Saratoga Springs, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Going to be a long night for them. Emily, thank you. Right now, crews are searching for an overdue hiker near Goblin Valley State Park. Emory County sheriffs tell us 64-year-old, a man, went up hiking in Little Wild Horse Canyon. This is outside of the park. In the afternoon on Saturday is when he left. His son then called Sunday to report him overdue. Multiple different agencies are searching. They say they've been all over the Behind the Reef area on dirt bikes and ATVs. They have not identified the hiker by name yet, but their family has also joined the search. We, of course, will update you on air and always online at fox13now.com. South Salt Lake police need your help to find this missing teen. This is 14-year-old Leah Johnson. She was last seen leaving her mother's house in South Salt Lake around 3:30 this afternoon. She's 5'2", weighs 90 pounds, and has long black hair. She usually wears it in a bun. She is considered endangered due to her age. Please call South Salt Lake Police if you see her or have any information on her whereabouts. The former University of Utah diver who fled the country during an investigation has pled guilty and was sentenced today. 21-year-old Benjamin Smith was a sophomore diver at the school before he was suspended in February of 2023 after the university was notified of the investigation. Today, Smith pleaded guilty to 3 counts of sexual battery. He will not have to serve any jail time, but has been placed on 36 months probation. He has 7 days to leave the state. If he fails to obey that order, he will have to serve jail time. The future of the Utah Arts Festival is in jeopardy due to a financial shortfall after this year's event. Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi explains.
When the light hits it, it just sparkles and almost looks like it's underwater.
This is Serinda Jones' Reflective Art Studio. Among her many artistic talents, one of them is glass art.
Glass is kind of a fun thing.
And the Utah Arts Festival has played an important role in her journey.
They gave me my first big real show here locally.
For 48 years, the Utah Arts Festival has been a stage for artists from all over to showcase their work, an event that is hosted during the last full weekend of June. But even though this year felt successful, the numbers told a different story.
We are short the money that we need to pay the remaining vendors, and that's important to us. They did the work and they did a wonderful job.
They're trying to raise $200,000 to cover costs after low attendance at the festival this year that was held on June 28th, 29th, and 30th.
Some of the reasons may be it was a little later in the month this year than it has been. People expected us to be the third weekend. That put us a little bit closer to the 4th of July holiday as well, which we feel like impacted. And then it was very hot, and there was also a couple of concerts, big major concerts happening, which definitely wouldn't have gotten us to our whole goal of attendance, but certainly we think detracted a little bit from our event that Saturday night.
The goal for attendance was 50,000 people, Before COVID, they had at least 60,000 people in attendance. This year, they probably had about 36,000 people.
Not having the Utah Arts Festival does impact people financially. It's a place where some of our performing artists got their start and have gone on to bigger and better things, as well as visual artists.
Because of their current financial situation, the Utah Arts Festival has also canceled its art tour.
I'm so upset.
Which is a way to take people behind the scenes of making art and give more artists a chance to share their work.
And I hope that we can make a resurgence with it. I see it as a fundamental project for the community.
Hoping that this isn't the end of the Utah Arts Festival.
When you don't have those connections and you don't have the strategic partnerships in the community, I can't even put a number or a loss on it.
If you'd like to help and get involved, there are links posted to our website, fox13now.com. In Salt Lake City, I am Maitri Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Breaking ground on the Utah Hockey Club's training facility in Sandy, how every Utahn can watch the team train and get on the ice.
The largest of its kind in the state and second largest in the country. I'm Amy Nay in Provo at the site of a new destination sports park. I'll tell you how that affects you coming up. Plus, it's back to school for students in one Utah school district and many more in the coming days. We'll take you to Washington County to show you how the first day went. And Fox 13 News anchor Robin Oginye talks one-on-one with the lead of Hamilton as the run of the hit Broadway musical continues at the Eccles Theater.
Well, welcome back. Let's go outside right now. UDOT traffic camera. This is along US 6 heading into Price. We're seeing the rain. It continues to fall. Areas getting impacted here in the overnight hours, plus more rain to come. I'll have details about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Big news for the Utah Hockey Club. The team broke ground on its new practice facility in Sandy today. It's located at the Shops at Southtown. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree takes us there.
This is a milestone moment for Sandy, for Utah hockey, for Utah sports in general, and we are thrilled to be the host city of the Utah Hockey Club.
Utah Hockey Club Governor Ryan Smith says the Utah Hockey Club's 111-acre training and practice facility at the Shops at Southtown will be open to the community.
When our guys are off the ice, the community is going to be on the ice. And I don't think there's another sport like that where they take over the playing surface.
The plan is for the mall to continue to stay open. The training facility will be an extension of the mall. The ice sheets will be built right here in the southeast corner of the parking lot.
I'm so happy that the mall will continue to operate, the businesses will continue to operate, and they're going to have a shot of economic, just a super blast of economic energy that will be driven by the arrival of the Utah Hockey Club.
Sandy Mayor Monica Zoltansky says the hockey team could move the Southtown Mall into the future.
What makes malls and shopping centers in America successful? Those who are resilient, that can plan and adapt to new consumer habits, changing business models, and we'll see that here at Southtown Mall, and I welcome that future.
The Utah Hockey Club will practice at the Olympic Oval in Kearns until the new training facility is set to open in the fall of 2025.
Hockey is a community sport, and it's a sport that all along has involved the community and allowed the community to be a part of it, and it's just the hockey culture, and it works out great for the entire community.
In Sandy, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And don't forget, our partner station, Utah 16, is your broadcast home for the Utah Hockey Club. The very first preseason game is September 22nd against the St. Louis Blues. Then the regular season kicks off October 8th against the Chicago Blackhawks. All games will be on Utah 16. This is always exciting. Students in the St. George area got quite the warm welcome on the very first day of the new school year. Check this out. Well, that's a cheering section right there. Students at Lava Ridge Intermediate School in Santa Clara were greeted with signs and cheers from their classmates, red carpet as well. A mile and a half north at Red Mountain Elementary in Ivins, the theme of excitement continued as the students received their very own red carpet treatment.
Personally, my favorite part is seeing the kids after they've been gone for summer. So just seeing all their faces again. They're so excited to be here. I think it's the one day where everybody's excited to be here on the first day of school.
Students at Piute and Tintic County schools return to class tomorrow morning, and other young scholars throughout the state will follow over the next 2 weeks. Good luck to all of them. Don't forget about our Back to School Blitz. Fox 13 is hosting a supply drive to benefit students in the Murray, Granite, Canyons, Jordan, and Salt Lake City school districts. You can donate online anytime at fox13now.com/supplies or text school supplies, all one word, to 50155. Also, we will be at the Smith's Marketplace at 90th South and Redwood Road in West Jordan this Thursday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. all day long to collect any donations you are able to drop off. It is that time of year. You know, it's been so hot for so long, and we're thinking back to school. With that in my mind, I always think cooler fall weather, but man, what a switch today, Greg.
I know. It did cool down. It took some, pretty severe weather to finally bring those temperatures down. Oh, the rain, my goodness, all across the state. It came in buckets here, posing a problem where we had several locations with flooding as the storm's still having an impact, particularly the southern end of the Wasatch Front through central Utah. Let's take a look at your current temperatures as we give you a view from our Oquirrh Mountain camera. Off in the distance, you're seeing some storm clouds beginning to make their move through Tooele County. Right now, we're at 70 degrees in Logan, currently 70 in Salt Lake City with low 60s in Price. Yeah, Price, you've got the rain and cooler temperatures, whereas we look across the state, look at this. Temperatures below average, only getting up to the upper 80s. Of course, we brought the clouds and the rain, keeping those temperatures suppressed, where for most locations, well below average. How about the high today in Price, 78 degrees, 74 in Bryce Canyon. We did make our way up to triple digits, though, in St. George, where we didn't get much action in the rain. As we look currently, no watches or warnings in place. Of course, we had severe thunderstorm warnings. We've been keeping our eye on the flash flood situation here throughout the state because there are zones and areas as the rain does continue to fall and heavy at times, where here for tonight, we're still looking at a chance from the Storm Prediction Center. We could definitely look at some scattered rain showers and some thunderstorms making the move here across northern central into eastern Utah. Tomorrow, it's a little bit more of a focus for northern, southern, and eastern Utah, as we are going to see that chance with excessive rain outlook here along the Wasatch Front, northeastern Utah, incorporating the Uinta Basin down through Green River. Again, that southeast quadrant through south central Utah. And as we look in southern Utah with the flash flood potential, some areas a little bit still an elevated concern level for Bryce Canyon, Grand Staircase, so Escalante, Natural Bridges, other areas. It's just a possibility, but still keeping our eye to the sky for all places except for Arches and Canyonlands. Now for, I should say, and this is not tomorrow, this is actually heading into Wednesday. Wednesday, it's just not going to be issue across southern Utah. Different story, though, for portions of northeastern Utah, but everyone's kind of in the mix here tonight. We're seeing that active weather. Line of thunderstorms making their move, clipping Capitol Reef, heading over, it looks Bicknell, Loa, pushing further northward along I-70 as well. Towards eastern Utah, we've seen a line of thunderstorms make their move for Green River. Tracking through, though, it looks like Moab, you're still going to see some rain down through Canyonlands. Areas such as Monticello, Blanding, you definitely got rain in your forecast here for tonight. As we're seeing another wave pushing its way through between Nephi up through Provo, a little bit further north. Actually could spill over into the south end of the Salt Lake Valley. So this could definitely wake you up here in the next couple of hours as you go to bed. We'll see that lightning, hear that thunder, and we get, again, additional rain. As we saw here throughout today, many locations anywhere from 1/2 of an inch to 1 1/4 inches. It's been a good storm bringing the rain, but again, too much too quick. We've been seeing the flooding, all concerns here for traveling. Okay, now as we go here in the overnight hours, we're still going to see some showers and some thunderstorms. It looks like from Nephi up through Provo, spilling into the Salt Lake Valley, then moving off towards the northeast tomorrow morning as we're waking up. If you're having to do any commuting through the canyon areas like Spanish Fork Canyon, over towards the Wasatch back, areas such as Park City, Camas, and then moving further towards the northeast. We're seeing those showers in the early afternoon hours. But as we take a look going into afternoon commute, we're seeing the rain hitting once again the central Wasatch Front. So that's Tooele, Salt Lake Valley, pushing off towards Park City and then moving off towards the northeast. Wednesday, we see a little bit of an impact, less though. It's just mainly extreme northern Utah, and that's going to be the case there. Now, here overnight, we'll be looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Again, most of the rain will be falling Provo, southward here for tomorrow. It's definitely portions of the Wasatch Front through central Utah, as we'll keep temperatures a little bit on the cool side. St. George, a slight chance there, upper 90s, triple digits thereafter. Not much rain until the weekend. It looks like Saturday and Sunday we reintroduce some upper level moisture. That'll give us a chance of some afternoon showers. Today, slight chance Wednesday, then we're clearing out through most of the weekend. Sunday, Monday, it looks like an isolated threat. All in all, we'll see a little bit of a warm up back to average temperatures, but for the next couple of days, we'll be looking at the 80s. We'll be back right at the break.
Blanding Representative Phil Lyman now launching a write-in campaign in hopes of unseating Governor Spencer Cox come the November general election. According to our content partners, the Salt Lake Tribune, Lyman asked the Utah Supreme Court today to stop the state from printing ballots until it rules on his case to throw Governor Cox and Lieutenant Governor Henderson off the November ballot. Well, Lyman won the support of more than 2/3 of the delegates at the state GOP convention earlier this year. Cox won the Republican primary back in June by nearly 40,000 votes, or 54% of voters. What was once Evermore Park in Pleasant Grove is now under new ownership. The amusement park closed back in April after a lot of financial struggles over the years, brought on by inflation and the pandemic. But now, according to the Salt Lake Tribune, Michelle and Travis Fox, a couple from St. George, have bought the property. They plan on renovating that property extensively and doing something spectacular through a new initiative called Hatch the Egg. It involves deciphering codes and winning cash prizes, with $20,000 for the first place winner. Not too bad. You can find more details at hatchtheegg.com.
I've arrived to that place that I envisioned as a little kid.
Hamilton has returned to Salt Lake City, and I got to talk to the revolutionary himself.
It's awesome to travel with the level of talent that we have.
What Blaine Alden Krause has to say about life on center stage and about performing in Utah.
Never been to Salt Lake. It's stunning here. It's awesome to meet audiences where they are in their backyard. Of course, it's a dream come true.
Coming up next.
Oh, the rain keeps coming down through parts of Utah. This is a live look right now, UDOT traffic camera along I-15, Juab County, south of Nephi. Heavy rain. Be careful out on the road. We've got more rain to come. I'll have details about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Greg, thanks so much. If it's two things Utah loves, it's theater and history. And we are giving you a dose of both with the story about one of the most renowned musicals of our time. Fox 13 News anchor Robin Oginye talked to the star of Hamilton as it has made its return to Salt Lake City. He told her, if you're not a fan of the show yet, why you should be.
Not throwing away his shot, Blaine Alden Krause, the man playing A. Ham himself. He takes me back to the moment he found out he'd be playing one of the Great White Way's most beloved characters.
They called me and was like, hey, we want you to come back again, and we want you to be the guy, you know, for the rest of the run of the show. And of course, it's a dream come true, right? It was just like, I've arrived to that place that I envisioned as a little kid.
And Blaine says back again because Hamilton is not new to him. Funny enough, he'd previously played Aaron Burr in the renowned musical. Spoiler alert or history refresher for you, Aaron Burr, this guy, shoots and kills Hamilton in a duel. So what's it like now that he gets to play the show's protagonist?
For me, I kind of think of them as the same person and two guys of the same coin, and one's just heads and tails. They kind of have the same dreams, same ambitions. You know, they come from different places, but what they want to produce physically in this new America is the same. And the only difference is that Burr is a bit more timid, a bit more methodical, reserved, and Hamilton, you know, can't keep his mouth shut.
Though the phrase talk less, smile more is a recurring theme throughout the show, you'll hear a lot of talking and rapping and spoken word and, of course, singing. In fact, you'll probably hear more talking than any other show you've ever seen.
Hamilton is the most words spoken on a stage, even including Shakespeare, ever. And Hamilton himself says the most words out of any character ever in the history of theater.
When it debuted in 2015, more than 2.6 million people saw Hamilton on Broadway, according to Broadway World. Another 7.8 million watched in theaters across the country, not to mention the millions who have watched the version streamed on Disney+. Hamilton's claim to fame, Blaine tells me, there's something in it for everybody.
You've got your granddad or uncle who loves history and loves politics, right, and loves all that kind of knowledge. Then you've got your, mom or maybe son or daughter who is a theater nerd and loves musicals, like my mom, grew up watching Sound of Music, right, and is going to come see the show. Then you've got 12-year-old girls and 8-year-old girls who just see the show and they see vibrancy and they see color and they see women empowerment and they want to wear the Schuyler sister outfits, and then you've got little cool dudes who are like, yeah, I want to be the king, and they come dress up, and then you've got people who've never seen theater who may become, like for me, the African-American community who has really strong ties to hip hop and rap, and see that being brought on stage in ways that we've never seen.
Aside from the vibrancy, the music, the classic theater tropes, there's something to be learned from Hamilton. For Blaine, the most impactful line of the play comes at the end from Aaron Burr.
I should have known the world was wide enough for both Hamilton and me. And I think if there was any message that was apolitical that everyone can take away, is that this world is big enough for all of us. And it may not seem like we can have it all, but we can have it all. And we can agree and compromise, and we can disagree, but does it have to get to that place,
One thing Blaine says we can agree and compromise on, a love for the stage.
Come see art. Art's amazing, live theater's amazing.
Robin Oginye, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I love that music. In fact, I saw Hamilton the very first time it came to Salt Lake City. Man, it blew me away. Fantastic. If you ever get the chance to go see it, don't pass up that opportunity. Hamilton, by the way, is the finale for the season of Broadway at the Eccles, but the next season will start up soon. Here's a look at that lineup. Mrs. Doubtfire kicks things off September 10th. Other highlights include Peter Pan, The Book of Mormon, and Wicked. After last week's collapse of a popular arch at Lake Powell, we'll look deeper into the potential dangers at our national parks. Plus, a very unique school. Did you know some of the best violin makers learn their craft right here in Utah? We'll show you more next. Have you heard about this? A popular attraction at Lake Powell has fallen into Lake Powell. Hole in the Roof Arch, also known as Double Arch or the Toilet Bowl, fell into the water last week. As Fox 13 News anchor Max Roth explains, the incident has now raised questions that led to some unexpected answers.
Here's what used to be and what is now. Boaters and swimmers like Monica Miles and her family loved visiting the arch.
And to come back and tell my kids that it was gone when it's one of those places that they always ask to go visit when we come. So we have favorites on the lake, and that's definitely one spot that's a favorite. So it's so sad, but we have so many great memories there.
Not everyone just looked. Art created by nature in the form of hoodoos, spires, and arches, and by Native Americans in the form of petroglyphs. It's all made possible by sandstone. It's rock that can be carved by wind, water, and by hands. So rock does fall, and arches are rock. This rockfall from Landscape Arch was captured in 1991 by a visitor named Michael Mueller. It's scary, but it's uncommon. After all, it took millions of years before Hole in the Roof fell. The National Park Service released statistics on deaths in parks nationwide just this past April. And in a 15-year period, 232 people did die in national park lands in Utah. Considering tens of millions of visitors, though, that's not a big number. Glen Canyon accounts for 121 of those deaths, though, more than half. 42 of those people drowned, 11 died in falls, but none of those were killed by falling rocks. It was the people who fell. In fact, falling rocks were not the cause of any of the deaths reported in Utah's national parks over 15 years. You may remember 2 people died from a rock falling on their house just outside of Zion National Park in Rockville in 2013. So falling rocks are very dangerous. It's just not a common way to die. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, coming up, we'll take a unique look at a survey giving us a better idea of the impact of the shrinking Great Salt Lake. Breck.
Well, Kelly, as we look over the past 7 days, we were on a heat wave, triple digits. Of course, last week, today, highs only in the 80s. Of course, we had to bring the storms and the rain to keep those temperatures down. Do we keep those temperatures down, though, as we look ahead? I'll let you know after the break.
Later in sports, the Utes with a good landing spot in the first AP poll released today. All as their backup quarterback was announced heading into the season opener here in just 17 days. Hear from Utah's QB2. Back in a bit.
Just think of it, 100 acres, 20 plus fields, multiple playgrounds, walking paths, and so much more. We're talking about the new Epic Sports Park in Provo, which is going to be the largest of its kind in Utah and the second largest in the country. Fox 13 News anchor Amy Nay paid a visit to the facility today.
There's nobody in the state of Utah, nobody in surrounding states that's going to be able to host this many teams in this kind of location.
Keith Morey, Economic Development Director for Provo City, on what could be a field of dreams, a new sports complex that's not only offering great access for local kids, but creates a destination for players from all across the country and, in turn, a real economic boom.
I think that you're going to have 1,000 room nights for every tournament, generated $30 to $40 million into our local economy. That's exactly the kind of economic vibrancy we want here in Provo.
The construction not even yet completed, and already a national tournament is scheduled.
So it's almost like building a stadium and starting out with the Super Bowl as your first game.
Provo City's Chief Administrative Officer Scott Henderson attributes what he sees as a major win on the field to some big ideas by local leaders, starting with the growth of the Provo Regional Airport right across the street.
Right now, the 2/3 of the facility's done, the first 15 fields, and we'll be carrying on with the other 2 sections down here to the south.
Parks and Rec Director Doug Robbins says 130 teams will be playing in that first tournament next month. That's an estimated 3,000 participants, plus their families.
Really started out as being a response to our limited fields of play. We only had 11 fields with over 335 local teams that were vying for space.
Once mainly farmland, this area to the north of Utah Lake, just west of downtown Provo, is seeing a dramatic transformation.
The ability to build this sports complex on 100 acres and in some way kind of preserve open space for our residents to take advantage of while still letting development around it to take place is kind of the best of both worlds.
We're excited about them having their epic sports moments here in Provo.
If you'd like to find out more and meet the mayor talking about this or other future projects, there's a special event, Popsicles in the Park, at the Unlimited Play Center nearby. Grand opening for this facility set for September 21st with that big major soccer tournament right after. Reporting at the Epic Regional Sports Park in Provo, Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Some green fields there. Hey, did you know Salt Lake City is home to a world-renowned violin making school? Founded in 1972, the Violin Making School of America attracts students from all walks of life, and no music experience is required. The school's program is normally 3 years. Attention to detail and concentration are some of the traits needed to become a top-notch violin maker. And the process can be rewarding in some unexpected ways.
A lot of the steps are very meditative. It's like you're just looking at something and comparing and just making very intentional moves with what you're doing. So I just find a kind of peace in doing that.
It's art. The Violin Making School of America is located on 304 East, 200 South in Salt Lake City. A unique census is now underway at the Great Salt Lake. Conservationists and volunteers have been conducting a survey of birds over 700,000 acres of wetlands all around the Great Salt Lake. To help us get a better understanding of the situation facing wildlife and people living around the lake. It's part of a larger effort across the West. The last time something like this was done was in the early 1990s.
We have this big 30-year data gap. The landscape has changed dramatically over the last 30 years with climate change, drought, water diversions.
The census is done twice a year until it's completed in 2026.
Well, beneficial rain here throughout the state. This monsoon flow continues on. St. George, though, fairly quiet right now. With a current temperature of 94 degrees, winds out the southwest at 12 miles per hour. You're not going to see much rain here over the next day or so. One of the rare spots or one areas here that we'll be looking at, not much rain, but most other locations, there are definitely good chances of continuing on with the rain, the heavy showers, that monsoon moisture, just not letting go as of yet. Salt Lake City currently looks like partly cloudy skies, but we've got another line of showers they'll be tracking through here in the overnight hours. Temperature at 70 degrees. We're highs today, getting up into the upper 80s. So actually finally finding temperatures below average. Of course, we had to bring the rain and the thunderstorms. Impressive thunderstorms producing a lot of precipitation here as it's going to be lining up moving into tomorrow. More rain expected, which will keep afternoon highs suppressed there. Warming up beyond that as we do dry out at least up until the weekend. So we're going to continue to see the rain, some cooler temperatures, but we get a break and that'll allow those temperatures to be back on the rise. But for tomorrow, where we see the potential for excessive rain, as we saw many locations getting upwards of a ½ of an inch to an inch and a quarter here. Northern Utah through central and a lot of eastern Utah under that shield of potential there, where we look at that possibility of that excessive rain. And thus, as we look in areas towards southern Utah, central Utah, of course, areas of concern that we see those slot canyons, keeping our eye at the sky tomorrow, particularly Bryce Canyon over towards Grand Staircase, Natural Bridges. Most other spots, it looks like we're going to be looking at a possibility. Arches, Canyonlands, you're going to see some rain here tonight, but tomorrow afternoon, not much of an impact there. But look at this, still very active here across the state. We're seeing thunderstorms making their move here. As you see, north of Capitol Reef, tracking up towards I-70. That definitely could potentially impact areas such as Emory, up through Castledale, tracking over towards the northeast there, potentially moving up through Duchesne County, then over towards the Uinta Basin. But as I mentioned, across southeastern Utah, as we go from Canyonlands up through Arches, heading over towards Green River, we're going to see the rain and the thunderstorms. A little bit of snap, crackle, and pop here in the overnight hours, as it's starting to once again fill in here throughout the mainly Utah County down through central Utah. So traveling along I-15, you're encountering wet roads, which means as that heavy rain continues to fall, we could have some standing water definitely for your morning commute as these showers potentially pushing their way up through Tooele County and then making the move maybe as far north as Ogden, most of extreme northern Utah. You're staying out of the risk here for tonight. Tomorrow, though, as we take a look at the precipitation here overnight through tomorrow afternoon, again, we're still going to see still here across northern, northeastern Utah, the showers continuing on, lingering on into Wednesday before we start to see some improvements. So expect to see the rain, the thunderstorms, overnight lows dipping down into the upper 60s. Looks like highs tomorrow, like we saw today, below average, many spots in the upper 80s, and a good chance of that rain for northern, central into eastern Utah. St. George, slight risk tomorrow, 98, then it's triple digits. Looks like we'll keep it dry until the weekend, bringing back some monsoon moisture and a possibility of some rain for the weekend. Northern Utah pushing until Wednesday, then we get a break and we bring those temperatures back up through Saturday. Isolated showers Sunday and Monday, so we'll hold on to the moisture, but looks like we'll see those temperatures returning back into the 90s.
The first AP poll is out with the top 7 spots mirroring the preseason coaches poll that was released last week. Utah, though, 1 spot higher than the coaches at 12th. The Utes, the top Big 12 school on the list, with Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Arizona, and Kansas at 17, 18, 21, and 22, respectively. Now to the news following Utah's weekend scrimmage. QB1, never a question mark heading into fall camp. Now healthy Cam Rising clearly back out in front running that ship, but that's okay because the Utes backup race has given us plenty to talk about. Coach Whittingham with plenty of viable options, and today gave that nod to a true freshman out of Draper, Isaac Wilson. A big pronouncement.
Isaac is continue to get better each day. He's seeing the field better. He's making better decisions. He's got a live arm. Ball comes out of his hand like it's supposed to. very mobile, and that's another facet, that a strength of his is being able to have escapability in the pocket and senses the rush very well and able to get himself out of jams and still make a play on the move.
I got to work. I just got to keep working. I'm just a freshman. I haven't earned anything yet. And the coaches always say, we need the team more than they need us. And I stand true to that. So I just want to come out here and ball, do my best, learn everything, and just have fun.
Yeah, big for the future of Utah football as well after this season. Meanwhile, Isaac's older brother, Zach, is in his own quarterback race. His just over the mountain. Zach yesterday playing the second half of the Broncos' first exhibition test against the Colts and leading Denver to a 34-30 win. The two Corner Canyon products, 6 years apart, are doing this together.
I felt like I was put in a good position by my family and my coaches in high school. Having my older brother, Zach, of course. He's been helping me throughout this whole journey. And I mean, he's been going through his own journey too. So we're working through this together, and I talk to him almost every day. I send him plays and stuff. He helps me through it, and he was really happy for me when he heard about it.
College hoops is still a few months out. The big test for BYU once again will be their Big 12 slate, but today Kevin Young and the Cougars unveiled their non-conference schedule. Here's some of the highlights. The season begins at home against Central Arkansas on November 5th. They'll be in San Diego at the Ratty Children's Invitational over Thanksgiving, along with Purdue, Ole Miss, and NC State. The Cougars' one and only true road game out of conference is in Big East Country on December 3rd against Providence. The Jazz today signing second-round pick Kyle Filipowski, the 7-footer out of Duke, started 5 of his 8 games during Summer League, averaging 11 points and 6 boards. He averaged 16 and 9 boards a game back in college. And finally, as is tradition, the Special Olympics Short Game Challenge kicked off the Utah Open this week at Riverside Country Club in Provo. Special needs athletes paired with a celebrity for a 9-hole contest, an event that tournament directors always look forward to every year.
It's just something that's priceless to all of us. So seeing the athletes, seeing the interaction between the professionals, seeing the media like yourself, interacting with all the athletes, it just makes for a special week.
We'll be right back.
Thanks so much for being with us and watching tonight. Hope you can stick around for QuickCast. It's up next.